I'm Maria Reed, and welcome to Moving with the Military, a show about military families, community, and turning a house into a home. I've been married to my husband Patrick for 14 years, sharing an incredible military life. Through PCS moves and deployments, it's made our family stronger and closer. It's been a challenge, but along the way, we've made unforgettable memories. I created Moving with the Military to share the stories of other military families, help them explore the cities near their duty station, and then design a beautiful space that I surprise the family with. Our first stop is Fort Hood, Texas, where I would like for you to meet this amazing Army family.
All right, so I'm Riki.
I'm Brian.
We met when I was a freshman in college at Austin Peay State University. He joined the military and graduated basic training at 17 years old, and I met him a week after his 18th birthday. We actually met a month before September 11th. I don't have any background with the military, so September 11th happened, and I was so confused and shocked, and we didn't get to talk for quite a while. He wasn't allowed to leave post. I wasn't allowed to come on post because I was so civilian at that point and realized how civilian I was. And so that deployment was supposed to be 30 days long, and on day 28, he called me and said, "We're going to be gone a lot longer than we thought. Can't really tell you much, but you're going to get an address now." And I was like, "Wait, what? What do you mean? You're supposed to come home?" So again, so new to me. And we married on March 9th, 2002. And I became a military wife at the age of 20. About September, October, we found out we were pregnant with our first son. I was a couple months pregnant at that point. And about the same time, my father got very sick. My father was only sick for a couple months when he lost his battle with cancer. And that was in January 6th of 2003. And then we found out that Brian was leaving for Iraq. I was shocked that I was going to have a baby by myself. I remember asking the chaplain if he was going to come home for the birth, and the chaplain looking at me like I was crazy. But I just didn't know. I was so naive. I really thought, well, I'm not going to have this baby alone, but I did. So he deployed March 7th, 2 days before our 1-year anniversary. And so then April 27th, I gave birth to our son, our oldest son, Bryce. My mother-in-law and my mother were there with me through it all, through the whole 31 hours. They were with me. And my father-in-law was actually deployed to Iraq at the same time. So Brian's dad was in Iraq with him. And he is in the Navy, or he's retired now, but he was in the Navy. And so he actually got to call me first because when we sent the Red Cross message announcing that I had given birth, this was way before Skype and email and technology now is just so amazing. We just didn't have that the first deployment. We had snail mail, we sent letters, and Brian missed, all the newborn fun stuff. He wasn't there for any of the newborn fun stuff. And so in July, it was July 9th, Bryce got very sick. Bryce was 2 months old at that point. And he got really sick, and I was so thankful to still be at home with my mom. And my mom said she thought it was an ear infection. I just grabbed a couple of things and headed up to the ER at Fort Campbell. That I think he might have an ear infection. He's not sucking on his pacifier. He's not eating like he generally does. I'm not sure really what's going on. And every time I would lay him down, he would cry. And so they did some tests, and then they told us they needed to do a spinal tap on him. And then they said, you're going to be here a while. We're fairly certain your son has meningitis. When you have meningitis, because it's so contagious, we were in like a quarantined room. So when the staff would come in to see us, there was like this little smaller room in front of our room, and everybody would have to put on masks and all of that to come into our room, like the masks and the gloves. And so I'm in the room with Bryce, and he's got monitors everywhere and a little cast on his arm holding the IV in. And I see the Rear D commander. And so he comes in and he's asking how Bryce is doing, and I'm telling him how Bryce is doing. He's got some really great medicine, and they're doing a really great job. And then he says, "Well, I do have to tell you something." And I think when they say it happens when you least expect it, it really happens when you least expect it. And so he says, "I do have to tell you something." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "There was an attack today." And I said, "Okay." And he says, "And your husband was on guard in a tower that was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade. And his femoral artery in his leg was severed." And so he had lost a lot of blood and was in surgery, and he's in a coma, and he's been flown to Kuwait. And they gave me a number. Sorry. They gave me a number to call for updates. I remember at that point in time, they allowed the FRG leader to come in. She came in and she took, one of the nurses was with her, and they took Bryce for a minute and laid him in the crib, and I went out of the room, and I just went around the hall and had one of those like Lifetime movie type like melt down the wall. I sat down the wall and I said, I talked to God and I said, I know you don't give us more than we can handle, but I think you might have made an error here, because I don't know that I can handle all of this. I don't know that I'm strong enough to handle all of this. When your soldier is injured, you have the opportunity to go be with him. And I couldn't, because I had to stay with my son. My son needed me, and so I couldn't go. He called me and he said, I said, do you know where we're at? And he said, yes, you're in the hospital. I said, do you know why I'm in the hospital? And he said, yeah, you had a baby. And I said, well, yes, 2 months ago I had a baby. Your baby's very sick. And so he went from Launchstool to Walter Reed, and then from Walter Reed back home to Bach, which is in Fort Campbell. And because Bryce's immune system was so compromised from the meningitis, they wouldn't actually let us go in to see him. They wouldn't let me take Bryce in to see him. And so I remember him hobbling to his door and sticking his head out of his door, and we were down the hall, and it really was like a Lion King type movie. I held Bryce up like this, and I was like, your son, you have a son. It was this ridiculous moment, but that moment shook us a little. We were 20 and 19. He was injured 10 days before his 20th birthday. So this is the Purple Heart that he received when he was hurt. They pinned it on you in the bed, right? They pinned it on him in the bed with a note that just says, PFC Moore, I admire your hard work, bravery, and courage. Happy birthday. We were a little shooken up. So he, when it came time for him to finish his contract, we made the decision at that point in time to separate from the military and just take a break and kind of get our bearings back about us. And he just was missing something, like his fire was gone. He had a great job, but it just, something was missing. And so about 4 years in, he came home and he said, I don't feel like I have a purpose. He said, I need to go back in. And so our joke is that his blood runs Army Green, and we really do mean that. He went to AIT, he did change the MOS from infantry to tanker. He decided to ride in his weapon instead of carrying it this time around. And he called me from AIT and said, you might want to call the real estate agent and put the house on the market. We're moving to Germany. Now we just celebrated our 15-year wedding anniversary. We've been married 15 years. He just got back recently from pre-deployment training, and he'll leave later this summer to deploy. It'll be his 6th deployment in his 13 years. And we have 4 kids now. We've got 3 boys, and our youngest is a daughter. She just turned 2 in January. Of our 4 children, we homeschool our youngest son. He has some special needs. He doesn't quite fit his round peg into that square hole like everybody else does, and so we decided to go ahead and just to give him the best chance we could, and the best chance that we could give him was one-on-one. The thing about moving 7 times is that each duty station, the school teaches a little different. He is high functioning on the ASD spectrum, and so he kind of marches to the beat of his own drum, and when you're different, you just have a hard time with other kids. And so he was having a hard time. He is such a smart boy, and he was catching on so quickly that he is not learning the same way that they are. And the pressure and the lack of self-esteem was not helping his situation at all. He was starting to be very upset when we did homework and cry and get very mad at himself and say really sad things about himself. And so I told my husband, I just think that he needed somebody to believe in him and somebody to take a moment with just him. We have things that constantly change in the military. Dad coming and going, and moving, and this can be constant. This can not change. And so but when it comes time to like renovating, you kind of always find something else to do. We move to a new house and we do the children's rooms. We, get them new beds and get them new curtains and get them, new paint and things like that, because you really want them to adjust the best that they can. And so you want to make their area feel like home. Toys are kind of taking over in the corner. And it's just kind of the room that we spend the most time in, but the room that we spend the least time focusing on. And so it would be great to have an area that everybody comfortably enjoys and, spruce it up a bit.
I'm here with Stephanie from Topsy Exotic Ranch, and we're getting ready to take our family into this drive-through safari right here in Copperas, Cove, Texas. Can you tell us about this amazing location?
Yeah. So we got started back in 1988. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law opened it up, and we just been kind of collecting animals ever since, and we'd let you guys come out here, drive through the safari. The animals will come right up to you guys. Y'all can feed them if you want to. It kind of gives our guests the opportunity to see everything in nature and really how animals really react in the wild. So
that's amazing. About how many animals do you think you have?
Oh gosh, about 400.
400
roaming around out there. Yes, ma'am.
And what would their natural habitat be? What part of the world?
A lot of them are from Africa. So like the way Central Texas is very similar actually to South Africa. So a lot of them acclimate well, and we have pretty much every continent except Antarctica we have species from. So.
Oh, wow. This is very exciting. This is such a unique find, a cool place to come, bring your family. It's in Copperas, Cove, Texas. This is something that we've enjoyed so much being a military family is every time we PCS to a new duty station, we get to find out what's in the community, and we're very excited to be here. I get to go behind the curtain. Oh, hi guys!
You want to make frenzies?
Marshmallows. You got one, buddy. Big one?
Mama got you. I got you guys.
Hi. With so many military moves, finding a good salon in a new city can always be a challenge. And today we've brought Riki and Brian in for a man facial and this hot towel.
Relaxation, cleanse.
Awesome. And what is your plan for Riki for her hair?
I think we're gonna do some nice face trimming highlights and just brighten it up and give her a nice, good cleanup on her cut. And
She's gonna look fabulous.
yeah, of course. In July of 2014 is when we officially opened. The owner saw a need for this type of salon and spa in this area and the lack of a place to go and just feel relaxed and get your hair done and get pampered. And so she went all in and just decided to open a salon.
Brian, I heard you had a facial, a hot towel facial today. How was that?
It was good.
And what happened?
I fell asleep.
And your skin is perfect now?
It feels better.
Feels better?
Like I had a deep cleaning.
Deep cleaning. That's good. We're glad that you enjoyed yourself. So, you know what we should do now?
What?
We should go check on your wife and see how her hair is going.
She's getting her hair done?
She is getting her hair done. She's getting a girl day. Just had dinner and it was so good.
Did everybody find something they liked?
They did, absolutely.
So there was a few choices.
Yes, we had from sausage to the brisket. That's my favorite.
Oh,
It really
awesome. About 25 years of cooking over there is, and some great people that work for us have been cooking for years and using real mesquite wood. And those pits get so seasoned over the years that they give us a little advantage, I guess.
We also understand April 20th begins your summer concert season.
There's a lot of families out here from Fort Hood, as you had mentioned, Killeen, Belton Temple, and it's family friendly. It's a great time.
You need to come to Chef's Barbecue. It is the best barbecue around. We've done a little recon for some must-dos in Central Texas. And before we do the makeover, we have a surprise for Riki and Brian. And here's your chance to get involved. Okay, America, it's your turn. We would like to give you the opportunity to help give back to this wonderful military family. We're excited to announce that we're partnering with Nebraska Furniture Mart to create a beautiful living room. Since Riki and Brian love surprises, your mission is to vote on the living room you like the best. Check out the links below to vote on Facebook, Instagram, or on our website and choose the Alpha, Bravo, or Charlie living room that you like the best. And then tune in next time to see if yours made it into the home. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors and to you, the viewers, for watching. And above all, thank you to our veterans. Thank you for your service.
Moving day.